Hi, this is a presentation on navigating to success, exploring the morality of what makes a good employee. This is a presentation for work readiness and ethical behavior in the workplace by Amy Williamson. Raising moral awareness in the workplace. What are employers looking for? True or false? The number one skill employers are looking for in prospective new hires has nothing to do with your ability or knowledge to perform job-specific tasks. True. Employers care less about your previous skills or training for job-specific tasks and more about your attitude and reliability. This means that employers would rather have someone with a positive attitude and reliability and less training over someone with more training but a bad attitude and not reliable. Social skills in the workplace are so important in getting and keeping a job, and they're more important even than the skills you're learning right now in the classroom. When you think about going to work, you want to be sure that you have acquired and mastered the virtues associated with good social skills. You want to have positive virtues over negative virtues. This means that an employer would rather see someone who is patient, humble, empathetic, humorous, helpful, kind, and respectful, and they would rather not see someone who is intolerant, arrogant, indifferent, who worries too much, someone who's selfish or a bully, or who's contemptuous. An employer wants an employee who demonstrates positive virtues, so accentuate the positive. Next, let's talk about understanding virtue in the workplace. Attitude is about more than just your feelings. Attitude can impact everything from your interactions with your coworkers to how your coworkers and managers perceive you, how you handle unexpected situations and stresses, and ultimately, attitude can impact your success and your future. Think about it for just a minute. Would you want to work with someone who demonstrated a bad attitude? You're with them for 40 hours a week at a minimum. It could make your life miserable, and you definitely don't want to be that person. Attitude is a choice that impacts everybody around you, and the great thing is that you get to decide every day to have a good attitude. Your choice to have a good attitude will definitely impact your career. And why should you care about your attitude? Some people say, love me as I am, take it or leave it. This is my personality. But you need to realize that your behaviors directly impact not just your own career, but the company's bottom line. So people who work well in teams, who go above and beyond, are going to help the employer make money because they're not wasting time. And time is money, and employers don't like time wasters. In other words, an employee with a positive attitude is priceless, and employers are going to invest in what is valuable to them and to their bottom line. Another key attribute of being a good ethical employee is to be reliable. It is so important to employers to know that you are going to show up and work hard, and they will do everything they can to avoid hiring unreliable people. So you really need to be aware of how reliability is measured when an employer is looking at you. First impressions, you've heard this before, a good first impression goes a really long way. So when you think about reliability, think about, was your application submitted by the deadline? Were you on time for your interview? And how about for your first day of work? Your previous performance will also be considered, and you need to know that employers are going to ask your previous jobs about your attendance. So be prepared to answer if you didn't have great attendance before. They're also going to evaluate your current performance. Can they count on you? Are you the first one to clock out? Are you the last one to clock in? Are you late coming back from breaks? These factors are going to damage or make your reputation. It can go good or it can go bad by just a few little changes that you make. Ultimately, you're going to signal to your employer that they can depend on you to stay until the job gets done. Also, you need to think about what others think of you. And this can be kind of a difficult topic because others' perceptions of you is something that you can't always change instantly. So what you really want to do is think about the worthy attributes that you can demonstrate that an employer wants to have on their team. They want someone who is teachable, easy to work with, reliable, helpful, and someone who can deal with unexpected stress or pressure. They also want someone who can take criticism and direction. They do not want to have to deal with someone who is stubborn or unteachable, difficult to work with, unreliable, unhelpful, or someone who can't handle unexpected setbacks or criticism. To an employer, those attributes are a waste of their time. And the bottom line, employers do not want to waste their time because time is money. The great thing is that you get to choose to embrace and demonstrate the virtues that are going to make your employer realize you are worth an investment. You want to be perceived as loyal, honest, hardworking. You want to be seen as a team player and someone who is teachable, reliable, and trustworthy. You want to demonstrate that you can be effective, easy to work with, and that you are willing to help out. Not only will this advance your career, but this will advance the company. There's always going to be times at work when you have to deal with a tough situation and make a decision that's based on morality. So you always need to consider to act for the best when the worst happens. The best thing you can do for yourself is to have a plan ahead of time. Know how you're going to react to stress before bad things happen. Always remember to breathe and be patient. Be empathetic to those around you and keep yourself in check. You choose to stay positive and react intentionally. Don't just react to the situation in the moment. So ahead of time, if you can plan to be patient, respectful, and humble and loyal, then when you're in the moment, you're going to be more forgiving and hardworking and understanding. And you will take responsibility for yourself and maybe for others as well. When the situation is over, your employer is going to see you as someone who's reliable and a good investment. And they may even see you as trustworthy. And that goes a very long ways for your career. When you're making decisions, be sure that you consider morality and virtue and ethics so that you can anticipate the results of your actions. When you are making a decision and considering whether or not it's right, sometimes it's a very gray area. You can pretty much ensure that you are making a moral choice if the action puts others ahead of yourself, helps the company, is within the rules or the laws, and that it demonstrates respect and honesty. You also want to be sure that the decision that you make is not going to hurt the company and it's something you'd be proud to talk about or to have made public. If you're not sure that the impact of the decision you're making is going to hurt others, it might not be a moral choice. Also, if the action doesn't help the company or a coworker, or would be considered disrespectful or dishonest, or if someone would be injured by your action, you probably aren't making a moral choice. And of course, a great measurement is also if you would not have your choice made public or your actions made public because you'd be embarrassed, then you're probably not making the right choice. In a time of crisis, you often have to find yourself in a circle of decision making and process. It's not just something that always just happens and then you can get over it. It's a continuous process. So you might take immediate action using your thought out plan ahead of time, but then you need to process what's happening in the moment, choosing to be moral, and then go back into the situation and take more action. And always remember that when you make a decision at work, you might not always get the results you want. Just remember that nobody is perfect and other people might not always react as you hope they will. Remember, not everyone is on a plan to be moral and ethical at work. But remember that if the only person whose actions you control are your own, then you do have enough control to make the experience good or bad. The next thing we should talk about is being aware of your own personal morality and having self-knowledge. You need to see yourself the way others see yourself, and sometimes that can be very difficult. So the first thing you should do is ask yourself, what kind of employee do you want to be? How do you see yourself, and how do you think others see you? Is there anything you don't like? Maybe you want to make some changes. A reality check can sometimes be difficult, but it's always good to have some self-reflection. Think about the virtues that you tend to exhibit at work or school. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback from your supervisor or an instructor. And don't be afraid to be honest with yourself. Consider negative feedback as a positive opportunity for change. Think about how you react to stress or how you might have handled a previous situation differently. Do you need to make some changes in your mental approach to how you work? Or are there any obstacles that are preventing you from having a good attitude? Just remember, any action you take today will help prepare you for tomorrow's challenges. Some final thoughts. Just remember that morality can impact your career. Take a minute and look at the differences between worker A and worker B from the perspective of an employer. Who would you hire if they had similar skills and experience? I think we can all agree that worker B demonstrates the positive attributes of an employee that you would rather have over worker A. Ultimately, a successful career is something that you deserve to have and something that you can have as long as you keep a positive attitude and take the time to have a little bit of planning to be moral and ethical, which will help enhance your reputation and take you a long ways for a successful career. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.